Hello and welcome once again to English class standard 11. The topic that we'll study is The Cherry Tree. It's a poem by Ruskin Bond. What are we going to learn from this poem, The Cherry Tree? That is the objectives of learning. So the poetic devices that we will learn are alliteration, antithesis, personification and climax. Writing skills will be, it is a narrative poem. We will be learning story writing from the poem. Extension activities and project work, we will be doing library work to study different poets and study their poems and write the summary of it. The values and the life skills that we will be learning are the creative activity of planting small seeds and then growing the plants, and respect to nature, that is trees are important. 2.1 Cherry Tree. We'll start with icebreakers, that is introduction part of the poem. Now let's see what are the trees useful for. Trees are revered because, revered means grown, because they give us joy, they provide us shade and shelter to fauna, that is for green vegetation. They absorb toxic carbon dioxide and make the air clean. We have a lot of benefits of growing trees. They prevent soil erosion and help rain cloud formation. They give us food, medicine, wood, besides many more other useful things. So that is why trees are grown. This poem is to show the importance of growing of trees. As we go with the textbook, there is a next question about match the followings, and the answers are given to you here in column B. Let's see what they are. You planted a sapling. What is the reason for that? You wanted to make a humble beginning. Then you watered a plant because you cared for it. You saw the shoot for the first time, means the growth of the plant coming. So what happened? The new experience brought excitement to you. You fenced a plant. Your motive was to protect that plant. The plant gradually saw lush green leaves grow on it. The color symbolizing life, green color symbolizing life, gave you a feeling of hope. The tree had buds too, gave you the feeling joy to see the promising future. Birds made a nest on the tree, which was fully grown and laden with flowers. You were happy and satisfied because you experienced what you had often heard, that small beginnings can lead to great achievements. Means the tree that you had planted, now it is a shelter for some birds. That is how a good achievement and a great achievement was done by you. After getting a lot of information about trees, we have come to know that the poem is about tree. The poet of this poem is Ruskin Bond. Let's see what is the background of Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond has written a lot of books for children. He was born in Kasauli, Himachal Pradesh in 1934. Ruskin Bond has written hundreds of short stories, essays, novels, and many more. And he has written more than 30 books for children. His first novel, The Room on the Roof, written when he was 17, and he received the John Lewin Rice Memorial Prize in 1957. He also published two volumes of autobiography, Scenes from the Writer's Life and The Lamp Inlet, a collection of essays and episodes from his journal. In 1992, he received Sahitya Academy Award for English Writing in India. He was awarded the Padam Shri in 1999. Ruskin Bond lives with his adopted family in Mussoorie in Uttarakhand. The poem Cherry Tree is about the poet's ecstasy, that is his imagination and happiness, over a tree which he had planted, which took 8 years to grow. He is expressing his wonder at the ways of nature and how cherry tree blossoms are fragile and quick to fall. The trees give him immense joy as he can see the stars and the blue sky through the dappled green trees. Let's begin with the poem The Cherry Tree. To begin with, the cherry tree. 8 years have passed since I placed my cherry seed in the grass. Must have a tree of my own, I said, and watered it once and went to bed. Now, here the poet starts with the imagination that 8 years have passed, means it was before 8 years that he had planted a seed somewhere in his courtyard. Since I placed my cherry tree in the grass, means he had put that seed inside. After eating those cherries, he had put that seed inside and he has left it all alone. He had placed that seed inside because he wanted to have a tree of his own. That is why it is said, must have a tree of my own, I said. What did he do? He just watered it and went to bed. It means that he had planted the seed, he put the water, and he just forgot about it. He went to bed. The paragraph means that. Now, here on the left side of the slide, we have some true or false questions. You can see that and you can read it. They destroyed the cherry tree, means whether the cherry tree was destroyed. No, it wasn't. The cherry tree had an instinct to survive. After 8 years also, the cherry tree was grown, so it shows that the cherry tree wanted to survive. Next is the thought which prompted the poet to plant the cherry tree. Why did the poet want to plant the cherry tree? Because he wanted to have a tree of his own. That is why he planted the cherry tree. As all the trees have its own way of growing, so is also the cherry tree. When the seed is planted, it can take any number of years to grow. So the lines are said here that, and forgot, but cherries have a way of growing. Here the poet says that he forgot about the cherry seed that he has planted, but cherries had its own way of growing. Though no one's caring very much or knowing, means once it was planted, no one cared about that seed which was planted, or also no one was knowing that something is planted there. And suddenly that summer, near the end of May, the poet is giving us the time when that summer, it was the end of May, that season, I found a tree had come to stay. So there was a small shoot, small sapling that was growing within the ground. So poet has seen that, and after seeing that he remembered that he had planted that seed of cherry. That year when he saw that shoot coming out, it was very small, 5 months child, means it was just 5 months old, just very small, lost in the tall grass, running wild, means it was within the grass. It was lost. It was not even visible within the grass. Goats ate the leaves. Goats were coming and eating the leaves. The grass cutter scythe, means the grass cutter was also cutting it with the scythe. That is a tool with a long curved blade at right angle to the long handle used to cut long grass and grain. So it was saved from that instrument also, that tool also, and it was saved from the goats also. Goats did not eat it and the grass cutter did not cut it. Split it apart and a monsoon blight, means it can not be split apart with the monsoon. It was the monsoon also was unable to split that sapling. Shriveled the slender stem, even so, next spring I watched 3 new shoots grow. The young tree struggle upward thrust its arms in a fresh, fierce lust. It means that though it was shriveled, the stem was slender means slim, shriveled means dried. So the dried, slim stem was drying more and more. But even though in the next spring, the poet saw 3 new shoots that were growing on that stem. The young tree, that is the small young tree, was struggling to grow upwards. It was pushing itself upwards. Its arms, means its branches, were in a fresh, fierce lust. means they were wanted to grow green and it was spreading upwards. The tree was trying to grow at any situation. For light and air and sun, I could only wait as one who watched wandering. While time and rain made a miracle from green growing pain, I went away next year. The poet here says that the cherry tree was struggling for light and air and sun, and he could only see the tree waiting and wandering and see that the tree is growing. He says that the time and the rain has made a miracle and it was growing green with pain. He says that he went away the next year, so he was not there to see the growth of the tree. Spent a season in Kashmir means he had spent that season in Kashmir. He was not there to see the growth of the cherry tree. Came back thinner, rather poor. When he came back from Kashmir, he saw that he was thin and he was also poor, but richer by a cherry tree at my door. When he came back to that place, he saw that the cherry tree had grown and he had become richer by seeing that cherry tree at his door. He says that 6 feet high, my own dark cherry means the cherries were of dark color that were grown on that cherry tree, and the height of that cherry tree was 6 feet. It was same as his own height, and I could scarcely believe it a berry. Means he says that I was unable to believe that the cherry that I have sown, the seed that I have sown into the ground has now become a tree, and the tree is giving out the cherries, the berries. So it was hard to believe, scarcely believed that it was a berry on that tree. Ripened and jeweled in the sun. The cherries were ripening and they were looking like jewels in the sun. Hung from a branch, just one. Means from every branch there was just one cherry from each branch. And next year there were blossoms small. Next year there were more blossoms and more cherries were coming. Pink, fragile, quick to fall. Pink color tree, it was looking like that, and the cherries were fragile. It was very quickly about to fall at the merest breath. Means even if somebody could breathe there, the cherries could fall. Also due to the sleepiest means slightest breeze was there, the cherries could be falling down. When the poet laid down below the tree on the grass, he felt at ease, he felt very good when he was laying down over there, looking at through the leaves. And when he used to look through the leaves at the blue sky, at the blind sky, he says that at the finches as they flew. Finches are the birds, seed-eating birds, who are singing and moving around, and they were moving around near the cherry tree and flitted. Flitted means they were swiftly moving around, and they were flying around the cherry tree through the dappled green, means through the greenery around it, so that they could eat the cherry seeds. While bees in an ecstasy drank. Also bees were moving around and they were trying to drink the nectar of the blossoms very happily. Of nectar from each bloom the sun sank, means the bees were drank the nectar from each bloom during the time when the sun was sinking, that is the sun was going down, it was the evening time. Next, swiftly and the stars turned in the sky, means as the sun went down, swiftly came the stars and it was the stars turn in the sky. And moon moths also were there, and singing crickets, the insects of crickets, those crickets that are making sound at night, and the moon moths, that is the shining insects that move around at night. And all these three of them, the moon moths, the singing crickets, and the poet himself, says, yes, I, means poet is describing himself. Yes, I. All the three of them, they praised night and stars and tree. They were praising, all three of them were praising the night, it was very good, and also the stars and tree. Tree, that is cherry tree. It was that small, the cherry tree, which was grown by the poet. That small the cherry grown by me. The poem is written by Ruskin Bond. It gives us the importance of trees in our life, the plantation or the plants in our life. I hope you might have understood the poem. Thank you so much for watching this video. Meet you in the next class. Till then, goodbye.